Hello, welcome back to Mack Being Me, podcast episode 48, Red Flags. Red Flags. Red Flags. What is a red flag to you? Just dropped in. I'm here now. A red flag, right? What is that in your life? What does that mean to you? A red flag it's an indication. It's an alarm going off that something is not the way that it should be within your experience. Because what we're doing right now is we're perceiving our own life experience through the lens of our conditioning, of society, of our programming, of our identification, right? Of our nervous system, what is being built in. And the red flags, the alarms going off, it's like, warning signs. I don't want to experience that. Some things we're avoiding, but also some things are like for us to decide, set up boundaries in what we want to experience in this lifetime. And it's important that we do that because otherwise we're going to be at the whim, at the mercy of other people, of life, And to a degree, there is that going with the flow of life. However, are we going with the flow or are we actually like just adhering to other people's desires, other people's thoughts? And that's what a red flag is for me. It's like an alarm going off and saying, no, I don't like that. This is what I like. This is what I choose to be. This is how I choose to show up. And this is what I expect in my life. Not even an expectation. This is what reflects in my life. It's not an expectation. It's as you change within you, the outside will mirror that. It will reflect and project, come back into you. So a red flag for me, I've got a few things, right? And as I share them, I would love for you to experience within you, what are the things that are red flags for you? What are the non-negotiables? Where do you set up your own barriers, your boundaries in your life and not accept things anymore? This was inspired from a recent experience from me yesterday, actually. I was going to have a podcast with a legend, someone I love, and who knows, I probably will still have that. However, it was the third week in a row where they cancelled or they wanted to reschedule. And when that came up for me, I was angry, which is very natural for you to be angry. Particularly because the day that I had that time scheduled 3 weeks in a row was the day where I normally have my date with my wife. I get that once a week. So that was one reason why I was a little bit angry. Another reason was that was the third time in a row that's happened, 3 weeks in a row. And, the person is like a beautiful soul, someone who's very well known, but also it's a human being. And I'm a human being too. And I talked about this with my business coach, Sarah, and she so beautifully pointed it to my awareness of like, where else is this showing up in my life? Because all these things happening outside of you, nothing is separate to who you are. Nothing is separate to the consciousness in which you are, right? And so I asked myself that, where else is this showing up in my life? Of me allowing this to happen, right? So I'm coming back into that past version of me, that people pleaser, how I would just literally bend to the whim of everyone to make it so they have a comfortable life. But for me, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. I was literally just doing what everyone else was doing, my friends, my family, and, just like people pleasing. So now breaking free of that, it's important to set up boundaries. It's important to become aware of red flags. And this is a big one for me of like speaking my truth in a way of saying, yeah, like I don't accept that. That's not okay for me. 3 times in a row, 3 weeks in a row. And everybody's going through their own life stuff. I understand that and I respect that. And can I come from a place of love and also say no? Can I come from a place of detachment from the ego, that justification, that righteousness of like, you can't do this to me, how dare you do this to me? And witness it more of like, yeah, this is what's happening. The happening that's taking place is happening. I can't deny that, right? What do I want to experience? What do I choose? Do I want to allow that? And the answer is no. It's a red flag for me, someone who doesn't show up, especially three times in a row, 3 weeks in a row, right? So witnessing that, letting that go. And now, where else does that show up in my life? So the breath says more than the words, as Mack would say, which is true. It's a relaxing into this moment, and I can feel it. So I ask myself that, of where have I been allowing certain things or for me to just to drop at the drop of a hat, my life for other people. And it used to be the case with awakening coaching, but even moving into coaching, I used to charge $50 for half an hour of my time. And it was once a week. And it was very draining for me because it was almost like therapy, and I'm not a therapist. But that was the dance that I went through, going through this, awakening through business. And I feel like you can't avoid these things. You have to start somewhere, and it's beautiful to go through that. But as you start to align yourself with your boundaries, what is important to you, where do you want to be, who do you want to be, and then you start to be clear on that, that's when that clarity will reflect on people coming into your life who are at that level that you choose, So setting boundaries as well with potential one-on-one clients and just letting them know this is what I offer. And if there's any sort of flow-on effect of I can't justify that, or I can't afford that, or whatever it is, that's okay too. I don't have to please the world. And that's a good one for you too. You don't have to please everybody. I know we get caught up in this from society, the expectations, the way that you perceive things to be. We don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. I think that's more beautiful than how it used to be for me anyways, of wanting to please everyone, because it's like a vanilla milkshake, some people like it, but it's just you're not being your true, full, authentic self because you're trying to give people a version of what you think that they need. And that actually dilutes the true essence of that experience within you and within the other, because they're not getting the true thing. They're not getting the true taste of who you are. They're getting this version of who you think that they need. And that's not really doing them a service. That's doing them a disservice and you. So as you start to identify red flags in your life, start to identify what is your desires and what is your truth, your values. It becomes really clear when you become clear within yourself and you see it as a reflection in every area of your life, relationships, your health, your mental health, business. Nothing is separate from you. So that's one of the red flags for me. Another one is victim mindset. So I don't choose to surround myself with people with a victim mindset. And there's a difference between, experiencing victim thoughts and being proactive, having an awareness that you want to work on yourself, you want to focus on yourself, you want to change, to being why always me? Oh, this is happening to me. Fuck the world. I can't do anything about it. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this always happens to me. It's an energy drain. It's toxic. And I don't want to surround myself with that because that does have an effect on me. And it could even be family. It could even be the ones closest to you. It's just becoming aware of do you want to allow that in your life? Is that a red flag for you? And, in terms of family members, if that's the case, it's it doesn't mean you have to shut the door on them completely and isolate yourself from them. Because I've been through that with my mum and dad. Some of my biggest homework, is my mum and dad was. And it's, and I mean, maybe for a period of time, it might require you to give yourself a bit of space, but you don't have to shut the door completely. It's more being aware of I don't have to be around certain people 24/7. I don't have to be around them. Actually, if I get to choose to be around certain people, what do I want to choose? Who are the people that I want to spend my time with? It does really make a difference. You do hear those cliche stories about the 5 people that you hang around with it creates who you are, you know? It's true. There's a trueness to it because it's really all coming back to the energy that we are. And as you surround yourself with people that resonate with you as you express your true self, and you can feel it, it's a collective, mutual beneficial experience that takes place that you can, it really powers you, empowers you. So the victim mindset, it's something that is a red flag for me. I don't tolerate that, you know. And if I hear it with my friends, the language, I tend to point it out now, especially the big eagle, and he's been really good with it, of witnessing with himself first. Like, because if you're allowing that language to take place, it's basically you're essentially signing up to that as well. Like, you're signing up to that experience. And if you're like into the experience of like gossiping and talking about other people behind their back, or allowing that to take place too, that's an energetic exchange that is happening within your being of like, I allow it to talk about other people behind their backs. You know, if you're talking to other people about like other people behind their backs, then just be aware of like those people would be talking about you behind your back, you know. And do you want to surround yourself with that energy? It's important because it's a bit of a potent topic, this one, the red flag. There's a bit of an energy to it, and I feel that's important. Sometimes it gets real and it gets energized. People that are not positively adding to my experience, and when I say positively, not positively adding, things like alcohol, gossiping, talking about the news, you know, and it's not just like a one-off thing. It's like if that's a constant thing, it doesn't align to the being that I want to be, then I just have to say no. And I do say no. And that's freeing. These red flags are for you to free yourself, for you to be you, right? They're coming up to show you, an alarm is going off just to remind you of like another opportunity. Do I choose to be this person? You know, I've been saying that I've been wanting to work on myself. I've been saying that I want to get healthy. I want to eat healthy food. I want to surround myself with positive people. I've been saying all the things. I'm very good at saying things. You could be very good at saying things, but are you the person that actually does those things that you say? Because there's a big difference between being the one with the microphone speaking and then the one that actually takes action. There's a polar difference, and I no longer want to be the one that says the things, you know. I love saying things. However, I love to be the one that actually does those things, that bees the energy, you know. And that comes through a being. It comes through a taking action, being true to yourself, and that can be felt, like it's undeniable, your energy that you are. So I love this world because of that. The world is this universe, is a world of feelings, and you can feel when someone is real. It resonates with the words that they're saying, but then the energy behind those words is like, is it backed up by the action, the person that they are being? I think that's really important. So also red flags that I avoid is people that are looking for an argument. And, you know, everything's valid too. Everyone has their own identities, right? And that's cool. And for instance, I'm thinking about a friend who is a vegan, and he was going to engage me in a conversation about the cruelty of animals and why I like to eat meat. And I can go down that path, everyone. I can go down that path if I choose to. However, you know, back in 2020, I probably would have gone down that path pretty hard, and I did. Beating the drum, going through the carnivore diet, and then going through the vertical diet, which is something that I'm into right now. Still, I can beat that drum. However, that's an energetic exchange of arguing an identity of like, these are the reasons why I feel like I should have this argument with you. You're a vegan, I'm not, and this is why I feel like this is better for the environment and the animals and stuff. Like I can go through that, but it's something now in my experience that I realize the amount of energy that takes. And is that really that important for me to have one argument with one person or a conversation that I feel like I don't really need to spend my energy on that? I could spend my energy on much more positive things. I'm not saying avoiding conflict or avoiding conversations with anybody. I'm more saying on like, what do I want to choose in this lifetime? My energy is very valuable as your energy is. And do you believe that your energy is valuable? Do you believe your presence is valuable? And is that reflected in your actions, on your experience? Because we can have these beliefs, however, we could also just be people pleasing. Or we can be looking for conversations like that engage the ego, the identity, and having conflict between us against them. Anytime it's like that, a divide, red and blue, you see it in politics. Like, it's pretty obvious that there's a device between two sides. And what is the purpose of it, really? Like, everyone is human being. Everyone is the same. Everyone has God inside them, right? And we're in this dance, this human experience about like, my way is the way. But I'm here to remind you that you have the way inside of you as well. That's something to let you know again. That I'm not here preaching. I'm not here like a guru. I'm here to remind you that you have all the answers. You do. And it's important to witness red flags in your experience and choose the life that you want to choose. There's the energy draining, and then there is also the manipulation. So that was a big dance with me, as I said, going through the whole people pleasing. And when you're in that energy of people pleasing, you're also susceptible to manipulation because you're open to people who could take advantage of you. And it definitely has happened throughout my experience. And now, because of that, particularly during COVID and particularly becoming an awakening coach, going through that dance, after that, like now bringing an awareness into my body, bringing an awareness into how I'm feeling and any resistance coming up inside of me, it's now very obvious wherever I'm being manipulated. Because again, we'd come back to feeling. And you can feel it. Like if you're really present with yourself, you can feel it in your body when it's like, red flag. So that's what I'm coming back to today, red flags. And that's what I'm here to remind you of, and just open that opportunity for you to reflect on your life. Like, what are the red flags for you? What are the non-negotiables now that you're setting up your own boundaries? And it's not like you're closing yourself off to the world, you're isolating yourself and you're cast out of society. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like your energy is important. Your very beingness is important. So where are the red flags for you? What are you going to do about it? And if you do want any more help with that, I do have a PDF. It's $47. The link is in the description, or you can check me out on Instagram, the Slank222. And yeah, all about discovering what's going on inside of you. So then you can witness this more and more easily of like, that's a red flag. I'm not going to go there. I don't like that. And that's it. So much love to you. Have a beautiful day wherever you are. There's a bit of energy behind this, but I feel good. And I feel it's important. I guess that's why there's an energy behind it. You know, we can all namaste until we're blue in the face. However, this life experience, the school is in our life experience, and the resistance coming up, the red flags are up for us to witness and then to decide where we want to go and then live that life that we want to live. You know, be that version, not just speak about it, be the living prayer. You know? So namaste to you. Check out those red flags. Much love to you.